Welcome to the Onyx Path news. I'm back. I am back once again, 1 week on, and my goodness, what a week we have had at Onyx Path pushing. It has not been a week of minor events, I can tell you that. There's been a rather significant release on Wednesday, just gone. We have got one crowdfunding campaign coming up to its close. And we have yet another crowdfunding campaign starting next week. And I know that it is one that a lot of people are looking forward to. So let's start with what we released last Wednesday. And what did we release last Wednesday? Scion God. Scion God in PDF and print on demand, now available through DriveThruRPG. You can find it linked below. Right below, just click there and you'll be able to pick up your copy of Scion God, which when I last checked was in the top 3 on DriveThruRPG. So that must mean that the launch went well. But I'm telling you, if you haven't picked up Scion God yet, you really should. This is, of course, the epic tier of gameplay for the game of Scion. And if you have followed Scion Origin, Hero, Demigod, all the way through to God, this is where your apotheosis is going to end up. There are so many options in this book. It is unbelievable. And I remember saying when we did the Kickstarter for Scion God, how impressed I was with how the team was able to actually make it playable. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, there's an awful lot of games out there that deal with playing as godlike entities, and they very quickly break down mechanically because of the sheer range of powers in play. There's a lot of experience being flung about. There's a lot of actions you can take, which, quite frankly, don't scale, so to speak, with the rest of gameplay, and it can start feeling very out of reach, unrelatable, if you like, to the average gaming experience. But Scion God somehow manages it to my tastes. I read through it again recently as I've been running a Scion Chronicle. And yeah, to say that I was impressed by this, I don't think there is a book by Onyx Path, and this is a high praise, I know. I don't think there is a book by Onyx Path that I have been so, well, wowed by. Because, yes, there are new pantheons and new gods, and everyone loves that. Yes, there are new powers that you can use, your new boons and so forth, and birthrights. But more than that, it is the fact that mechanically this game functions, and that is it's really impressive, I think. So do check it out if you want to play games or run games where your players are playing the roles of gods, and you can start not only affecting those puny humans, but also scions, as well as the various planes of existence, the other worlds, underworlds, and more. Scion God is definitely for you. Now, if you're a fan of all the very many pantheons and gods that we have introduced across the Scion game line, you will find even more in this one. In the next few days, we will also be concluding, and by a few days, I mean about 2.5, we will be concluding the Storypath Ultra backer kits campaign. This is Storypath Ultra Core Manual. The Storypath Ultra Core Manual, which I've spoken about before, of course, is a book which introduces you to the Storypath Ultra system, which we use for games like The World Below, At the Gates, Curseborne, and explains it in a way that enables you to adjust it, tailor it to your games, add bits and pieces. There are lots of optional bolt-ons and expansions to the system in there. Hi, Corbin. And it also provides you with 3 whole games within that book that you can play using the Storypath Ultra Core Manual. There's some rules in there as well, should you wish to use the material in Storypath Ultra for adapting your existing games to things like Trinity and Scion. But the main focus is allowing you to use the Storypath Ultra system to build your own stories, build your own games, and it is in fact a very useful tool, a manual. It is called the Core Manual for doing that very thing. There's a whole load of interviews about it and videos about it over on Awkward GM Corbin's channel, who just chimed in the chat. So do check out his channel because a lot of us speak about it on there, including me. But with the Storypath Ultra Core Manual coming to a close, its backer kit campaign in the next couple of days, well. Not only do we exceed 1,000 backers on it, which is always a great mark, not only have we, of course, exceeded the 400% funding target, which is another wonderful wonderful thing to surpass. We have another very exciting game coming up next week. Next week, all being equal, we will launch a Kickstarter, and that Kickstarter will be for the Curseborne RPG. Yes, I can hear all of you going, woo, yeah, woo, ah. Now, I probably don't need to tell you, but I'm going to anyway. If you haven't shared the Curseborne Kickstarter page with your friends, with your gaming groups, with people you used to know, people who you know who love World of Darkness, Chronicles of Darkness, Stephen King, Mike Flanagan, I know we keep returning to them. Those are my cultural touchstones for this. Fringe, The X-Files. If you haven't introduced them to the Curseborne RPG, I really sincerely ask you to do that this week. Let's get as many people signed on to this page before the campaign even goes live. Let's get those people queued up so that when it goes live, they all get notified, they all back, boom, we smash through the funding target. Wouldn't that be wonderful to do rapidly? We, as always, have no idea how well this game is going to do. You know, we can obviously make our guesses, we can have our hopes, but whenever we're dealing with a brand new game, whether it's The World Below, whether it's At the Gate, whether it's Curseborne, we just have no idea how it's going to land. But if you like your horror games and you like your horror media, if you like urban fantasy and urban legends, urban horror, it's not all urban, you can set it in the countryside as well. If you like your SCP, if you like your tales of folklore, if you like your uncanny valleys and your conspiracy theories and your creepypastas, Curseborne is the game for you. The link is below, so you don't need to wait until next week. You can get on there right now. It should be one of the top links in the video description. Click on it, click the notify me upon launch button on the Kickstarter page, and you will be helping us out a great deal. It all helps with that mystical algorithm. But most importantly, and this is the most important thing of all, when you're sharing this campaign, share it as far and as wide as you possibly can. I don't just mean on social media, Facebook pages. I mean message people. Get it out there. Put posters on telegraph poles. Mail them through people's letterboxes. Jam them down the throats of the naysayers. No, don't do that. Don't do that bit. And as far as I know, there are no naysayers. I'm sure they'll come out of the woodwork. But right now, there are no naysayers to jam things down the throat of. Put a hold on the naysayer jamming. But for now, do get the word out there, because we want as many people interested in this game as possible. We want as many people excited about this game as possible, as excited as we are. I think it will do well, but that remains to be seen. All we know is the Kickstarter will launch next week. There will be a lot of actual plays going out there. So if you want to know how the game is run, there will be plenty of evidence to show how the game plays. If you want to know how the system works, there will be videos explaining how the system works. Depending on your preferred format, you will be able to find videos, you'll be able to find podcasts. There will be a lot of material out there about Curseborne. Most importantly of all, when you back Curseborne, just the same as when you back any other of our games, you will gain access to the manuscript for the book. Now, this will be pre-edits. There may be changes before release, but the main point is you'll gain access to the manuscript. Therefore, you will be able to start playing right away. You'll be able to start running right away. You'll be able to learn what this game is about and make your decision during the Kickstarter campaign. And if, God forbid, it isn't for you, you can always cancel your pledge. But I don't think you will. I think you'll read the manuscript, fall in love with it, and I hope that that will convince you to share it with even more people. Just keep it in mind. It is our, let's call it, stride into the unknown, because Onyx Path has a long reputation now since its foundation as being a producer of horror role-playing games. I mean, it's not surprising. We have, for a very long time, released books for the World of Darkness and Chronicles of Darkness. You know, and on top of that, we released books for Dystopia Rising Evolution. We did They Came From Beyond the Grave. Those are two different kind of horror games, but we often revisit horror. This is our first pure horror game that is fully owned by us, It isn't gimmicky like Beyond the Grave, which I love. You know, it's not a comedy game like Beyond the Grave. It isn't under license to another company. This is Onyx Path's own, so we want it to do well. We want this game to do gangbusters. So it's very important to us. Do get the word out there. We will be trying our best, but we'd love it if you do too. And I apply that same to the both of you, Corbin. I know you're doing our good work out there, Corbin, but Dominic, you as well. Let the people know Curseborne is coming next week. And of course, if Curseborne isn't their thing, Storypath Ultra Core Manual is finishing in the next couple of days. And if that isn't for them, Scion God, we released in PDF and print on demand this Wednesday just gone. So there are... You don't know any people, Dominic? Do you live in a cave? I'm sure you know someone. Someone you've gamed with once. Either way, I've said all I can. I've said all I can. Thank you very much for watching. Keep watching this channel. Watch my channel, The Gentleman Gamer, because there will be Curseborne-related content on there too. And next time I speak to you will be next Monday. We will be very, very close to Curseborne launch. Until then, bye-bye.